So let's get right into it, people. You know, crypto, cryptocurrency is is a phenomenon. It's a 10-year-old phenomenon. No doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. It's introducing changes, to the world of finances, economics, transference of wealth. That's incredibly disruptive to, the oligarchs and central banking and government structures that exist worldwide. But I in learning about crypto, I've only been learning about crypto, you know, s- for the better part of 5 years. It's There's one thing that that you just cannot avoid is the human factor. You can't avoid the human factor because you're dealing with people. You're dealing with people, and the idea of crypto, when you're talking about introducing person to person transactions, removing any third parties or middlemen, such as governments, such as central banks, such as any type of entity that could be in the that could be in the middle of your dealings and payments structures, MoneyGram, Western Union, PayPal, whatever it is. When you're talking about eliminating that element and you're dealing with people, you need the blockchain to record the information, to pretty much document every movement that's made with crypto. The underlying element that you still have to deal with, even though the blockchain introduces this trustless, immutable um, type of element to cryptocurrency, removing the power back from the government and central banks and putting it in the hands of the people. You're still dealing with people. And there's this term that I read on Discord the other day, that I like. People with their frailties, you know, people who have so many different issues because human beings are complicated. You deal with pain, you deal with pleasure, you deal with happiness, you deal with sadness, you deal with everything in between, all kinds of different things that make up who we are, right? You include that in crypto. And what I find is folks allow their emotions, their feelings to dictate which way they need to go. Feelings come and go. Feelings, from what I've learned in my short time living, feelings are fleeting. You may feel one way now, and that can change in an hour. When you're governed by your emotions, when you're governed by greed, when you're constantly falling victim to the whims of temptation, the likelihood of you becoming successful in whatever it is that's compelling you to become greedy or to really think from a emotional point of view can seriously cause you to lose. Cryptocurrency, what I learned, when people think about crypto, They think of the dark web, and when I say people, I'm talking about folks outside of the cryptocurrency community, you know, people who don't even care about anything besides their day to day, who know nothing of Bitcoin, who know nothing of the 2,000 different cryptocurrencies that are out there, legitimate or illegitimate. When they most of the time people hear about crypto, they're scared, they're afraid. The technology is new, but they are afraid, they're apprehensive because we've been conditioned so long under certain structures that have been designed to control. You're moving away from, when you talk about cryptocurrency, you're moving away from a certain level of control, a certain level of oppression that people under governmental structures are under, that people under central banking structures live under. Cryptocurrency relinquishing the powers from the government back into the hands of people is part of the mission of cryptocurrency, which is affording a certain level of freedom, liberation. You have choices now. You become your own banks. You're able to make your own decisions. It introduces an element of sovereignty into your life where you can, again, decide which way you want to go with your crypto or with your monies, because this translates into economics. Relinquishing fiat, because fiat is just this bottomless pit, especially the dollar is not supported by any gold standard, so it's just being created and it's just existing off the faith of the people. Cryptocurrency goes against that. Cryptocurrency is disruptive to that model. But when you add the human factor to these things, you can see how people can lose sight on what's really going on. Because let me go back to what I was saying. When people talk about cryptocurrency, they're afraid because they crypto in the beginning of its existence, still in its infancy, but in the beginning, it was linked to the underworld, the dark web, illegal activities, criminal activities. Okay? People conducting all types of illegal transactions and online using cryptocurrency. So, of course, people shied away from it. But there's another side to that, because there's also a lot of good that's being done. There's a lot of a great deal of development that's taking place in cryptocurrency that's trying to identify certain services and products that can improve the lives of individuals worldwide. I don't understand how people can continually say that cryptocurrency is solely used to conduct nefarious activities when that's what fiat money has been used for, when all types of shady dealings are going on. So that's another subject for another day. But going back to what I find tasting about cryptocurrency is the element of promotion. Crypto promoters, that whole promotion thing, it never sits well with me when I'm watching it. Over the years, I've seen how, YouTubers would promote or shill certain companies or cryptocurrency projects, I would say, because a lot of cryptocurrencies are not companies. They're just crypto projects, I like to call them, would end up scamming people. A lot of these companies that these promoters are, again, I made the mistake again, excuse me, crypto projects that these promoters would choose to shill, possibly because they receive payments. They have their own incentive, monetary incentive to shill. You're advertising and marketing and talking about these projects, and if you have people who are gullible and naive. Now, I'm not saying that it's the promoter's fault per se 100%. They have some responsibility because they do have a responsibility just by way of promoting certain things, but ultimately it goes back to the accountability falling on the person who's on the receiving end, listening to the promoters, listening and not investigating properly, but allowing their human emotions, greed, fear of missing out, like they call it, FOMO, to take over the better part of their decision making. They end up putting their monies into these platforms, their hard-earned monies into these platforms, and when the platforms shut down, they're left at a serious loss because they did not take the time to understand how volatile, rewarding as well, but extremely volatile cryptocurrency is. They did not take the time to really investigate. They just saw a video from a promoter and made their decisions off of the words of the promoter. Meanwhile, one of the things that cryptocurrency teaches, if you learn about crypto and care, when you're talking about the blockchain technology, when you're talking about just the blockchain and its many purpose, but one of the main reasons why blockchain exists is to remove trust. Where you don't have to think about, I need to trusting some, making sure that you have to instill trust in anything. No. No trust should exist in crypto. That's the purpose of crypto. If you don't know that, then go back to the drawing board, revisit, do some work, take some time out to temper those losses by really researching what it is that you're trying to get into, especially with this thing here. There's no doubt about it. There's been documentation of people, saying how crypto has changed their lives for the better. But there's also documentation of how cryptocurrency devastated individuals because it's all volatile. You're dealing with a high risky type of situation here. Very risky. It's very risky. And it becomes even more dangerous when you do not take the time to do the research, or what they call due diligence, to investigate what it is that you're putting your monies in. You know how many people I've seen complain about how certain projects that they will put their monies in scam them and how they lost everything because they've put everything they had. They allowed their emotions and their greed to get the best of them. So they took out all their life savings and put it in these crypto platforms that were illegitimate, that ended up scamming the people. You liking someone does not guarantee that you'll earn rewards or or make substantial gains on anything you decide to quote unquote invest in because you like someone. Does that make sense? How does and the again, promoters who don't even really quite understand what it is that they're promoting, because you could tell from their language. You could tell from how they deliver the information. There's something that's missing. You can tell the difference between a person who's well informed on a subject and another who is ill informed or not, or do not have the adequate information. You can tell. You can tell by how they speak, by way of how they deliver the information, how they deliver and speak about the projects. You can tell. But people, they see the promise. They fall victim to, oh, show me these interest rates or show me the numbers that, these projects are promising, return on investment percentages. And then you grab them hook, line, and sinker to people who are vulnerable because they still are human and dealing with their everyday issues. And money is a factor that in the Western world is unavoidable. Well, globally too, but I'm speaking from the United States perspective. So if you give someone, you show them something that they like and it appeals to their emotional sensibilities, and you're showing them they can see a nice return on their monies. Meanwhile, these projects are so shady it's not even funny. Who ends up losing in the end? Everyone really, but especially those who jump in because they saw an opportunity. They let their feelings get involved instead of taking a step back and saying, hey, wait a second. This looks good. It smells good. It may be even too good to be true. Let me not take this risk right here. Let me not take this gamble, because it's a risk. It's a gamble. High risk, high reward, but at the same time, high risk, high loss. You have to really take your time when you're just absorbing information, especially when it deals with money. And I'm saying this because I've seen how this cryptocurrency market works in cycles, in the ups and downs, the bull market versus the bear market, etc., etc. I've seen the changes. I've seen the highs. I've seen the lows. I've seen it. In the short time that I've seen so many swings of the pendulum. It's not even funny. This is why you have to, a person, you have to remain focused, balanced, not fall to whatever a promoter is telling you on YouTube. You think these promoters care? And another thing that I think ruined or is definitely ruining crypto or having a negative impact, an adverse impact on cryptocurrency and the market overall, besides ICOs. That ICO debacle, and believe it or not, certain ICOs have been very successful. It's about understanding what you're getting involved with and taking a risk, almost like going to a casino or playing the lotto. Ultimately, it's a gamble, a game of chance. But one of the things that I've realized with this whole promotion thing that has added to the negative or adverse effect on crypto, when you have these referral affiliate links, come on, man. This multi-level, because it has that multi-level marketing feel. Everyone doesn't get, that adds to the problem too, especially when you have shady projects who come out to win your confidence. You have a promoter who markets and promotes these shady projects. And then the promoter, because the project offers affiliate links, the promoter adds their links. So you see the structure right there, the Ponzi type of pyramid scheme type structure. You see it already. And you allow your emotions to make you jump into the program without really understanding that this is a recipe for disaster. It's a train wreck. And then it spreads like a virus because of the affiliate link. And then you go and you try to do the same thing. And then your friend goes and tries to do the same thing, and so forth and so on. Especially if these projects are paying out in the beginning. It's caused a problem. These are the things I don't like about these things with cryptocurrency that I don't care for at all. This affiliate link referral nonsense. Because when the promoters documents, like they say, they documenting their experience. When you're documenting how much money you're making, you automatically are putting yourself out there like a target. They become targets of huge criticism. They become targets of envy, jealousy, everything under the sun, because all of that money, people will say they shouldn't have that. The folks that criticize, they would want that money for themselves, not these promoters. Who the hell do they think they are? This promoting thing created a problem. It created a problem. It was the downfall of many of these types of projects. It's been the downfall. And it continues to be the downfall, because now what folks forget about doing the basic things by just look up if something comes out, look it up. Are you just going to give anyone your monies in your regular day outside of crypto? No. But why is it that when you see your favorite YouTuber, who's also human, starts talking about a project that they're involved in or they'd like to get involved in, you're so willing to just blindly jump in because you like this person? This is how you get trapped. This is how you get caught in situations where you regret, where you now have to suffer. There's people who get involved with these platforms and they think that because it's been running for a certain period of time, that this is the word that folks like to use too, who don't dig deep, sustainable. Oh, it's sustainable because it's been running for X amount. No, it's not sustainable. It's a gamble. It could shut down at any point. Then what? You're not thinking about sustainability anymore. You're thinking about how you're going to pay the next bill, how you're going to eat, because you took all your life savings, and another term people use wrongly, diversify. They took all their life savings and threw it in and just threw it away. They don't own their private keys. They didn't take the chance. They didn't take the time out to really understand what it is that they're getting involved with. Monies are locked up into these projects. So you're at the behest and the control of another micro government structure, of another micro central banking figurehead, something that you're supposed to have been removing yourself from because you got into some type of crypto project, which is what crypto's about, removing yourself from the governmental structure and the central bank stranglehold. But you want to jump into these centralized things that really don't have your best interests at heart because you saw this promoter talk about it who knows nothing about crypto. Doesn't matter how long they've been in it. You can tell by the way someone speaks and by the types of... See, the thing about the promoters also, some of these promoters that constantly talk about, but promote, they want to build their channels and they promote crypto and they so pro crypto. They often talk about the same, like certain platforms are similar in nature. High yield investment plan, type of structure, same type of thing. They don't go outside of that. Meanwhile, you have legitimate, projects that are developing and creating different types of technology and services and products. They're in their infancy, startup, doing their thing. They're devoid of this type of lending thing, this lending craziness. Lending. Earn interest every day and not even understand that what you're doing can't last long. Because if it did, certain things would have been running to this day. Lending is done. Move on. But no, you let your dreams, you let your emotions take over because you like people, you like this and you like that. Crypto is not about what you like, who you trust. Believe in the tech, believe in development, believe in the blockchain. It's almost like rewriting history again and recording it on something that can't be reversed. Eliminate who you like. Eliminate this promotion thing. Promotion. It's this retail type of understanding. Retail, consumer, marketing mumbo jumbo. At this stage, with crypto being in its infancy, you can say, before mass adoption hits, you have a huge advantage because you're gaining the information. You're gaining information. You're studying. You're making well-informed decisions. Although it's volatile and risky, but you're taking calculated risks. Not listening to some body who you don't even know because you like the sound of their voice and they sound cool, so you're going to do what they're doing because they're promoting. That's been the negative, I think, in my opinion. It's what I can't stand about the certain segments of cryptocurrency. Because it's not all crypto. It's not all these projects that do this. But some of these plans, they follow a certain a model. Again, certain promoters, they promote, watch what they're promoting. And you can see, number one, there's a pattern. And not in a pattern by the way of they're promoting, in the pattern of projects that they're choosing to talk about. There's a pattern. There's a pattern. If these patterns haven't worked out for these people and for yourselves, why do you continue to do the same thing looking for a different result? You don't see that? I don't know. That's all I gotta say, people. Just educate yourselves. Take that time. If you really want to be daring enough to get into something like so avant-garde, so disruptive, so volatile, but so inspirational, the potential is so huge with blockchain technology, with Bitcoin, everything related to crypto. It's almost undeniable. It's not going anywhere. So if you have the proclivity to get involved in something like this, try to understand what it is you're working with. Try to understand what it is you're trying to get into. We're not talking about, becoming as knowledgeable as a core developer. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if you're going to take your hard-earned fiat, make sure when you make your decision that you're good with the decision you make, whichever way it goes, because you made it. Not because you heard somebody who promoted this thing, how they're talking about it, and you like what you heard from them solely based on their words. That's what convinced you should make your decision. Without doing your due investigation. Just use it. Sometimes it's really about using your common sense. Because this right here, it's showing that common sense is not really common. It's not really being practiced the way it should be in this space. Trust your intuition, sure, but also have the information. Don't allow, again, I keep, you keep jumping through hoops because you want to feel like you want to get involved. Your emotions are telling you, do this, do this, do this. Your greed, you see the greed factor. Oh yeah, I could retire early. I could pay my debts off. All this money, these things are promising me. Oh, I can just, leave my job. What? But then you fall flat on your face when these projects scam. And then you look at these promoters who you liked, they can't help you. So you failed twice. You failed because you jumped out of the window with your emotions, making these things, on a hope and a promise, thinking that you want to follow this dream based on just greed. And then you failed by allowing these promoters to dupe you into doing something that you should have did the proper investigation to protect yourself and your loved ones before pulling the trigger or putting skin in the game. Just keep things simple.